I don't know if you saw my story.
I'm off social media, bro.
Oh yeah. So I bought a coffee from McDonald's down on 17th, right? And like you know how they have the order number on it?
Yeah.
It was 666.
Oh shit.
And then I went to my parents that night.
Yeah.
And my mom went to a completely different McDonald's, and she got 665.
Did she buy it before you?
She bought it a completely different time than me. Like I bought
Same
it.
day though.
Yeah, same
But
day.
she bought it before you, so I'm asking. On the same day.
She must have bought it after me.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it was a different McDonald's. I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, that reminds me of the weird synchronicity dream that I had. Did I tell you about like the phone crack dream that I had? And that was like we all had these crazy dreams, and that was right during like the lunar eclipse. That was a full moon in Sagittarius, while the sun was in Gemini.
Did I tell you all this synchronicity is
I don't know
about?
too much about that. The Sagittarius. Sorry to interrupt. But you said something about Sagittarius.
Yeah.
So the moon is Sagittarius. So
The-
that means like.
But now the moon's in Capricorn right now.
Yeah, but like, like when the moon was in Sagittarius, does it have something to do with synchronicities, or is it like a?
Well, that's the thing. Is just like that's when I had that synchronistic dream. And did I tell you of it?
I don't think so.
Well, basically, I just had a dream that was just a flash, and it was literally just my phone cracked. But then I like woke up the next day, took a shit, cracked my phone like I dropped it when I was taking a shit.
The way I see it is the Sagittarius moon is like it's reflective because it's two, it's double, right? So it's like you see something and then you see it again. It's like twice.
Yeah.
And that day, it was like that's when I got my parents to watch Twin Peaks, right?
Oh.
And so I got the coffee, and that was weird. And I told my parents, like, they were kind of like, "Whoa, that's pretty crazy too." And then we started watching Twin Peaks, and like literally, my dad wanted to make Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and like we had this whole like stupid debate about baguettes.
You and your dad?
Like me, my dad, and my mom, because my mom bought like this like cheese like crazy good baguette, but she only bought it for herself. We're like, what the fuck? Like you buy the best one and then you just buy us these shitty baguettes. And then so like we were talking about that, and then we started watching Twin Peaks, and the episode starts, and it's like the guy comes in and it's like he's like, I've got something for you. And he pulls out like 4 baguettes, and he's like, "You've got to try this." And like the guy is just like, it's so like obvious. He just picks it up. He's like bites into it. He's like, "This is so good," and it's like so focused on just baguettes. And we're like, "What the fuck?" And then we keep watching, and we were talking about
baguettes.
In the first episode, there's investors, and they were speaking a different language, and we're like, what language are they speaking? My dad's like, it's German, and I'm like, no, it sounds Swedish to me. And then later they're like, no, so did you get the deal with the Norwegian people? And my dad's like, oh, the Vikings. And then literally right after he said that, the person was like, oh, we didn't get the deal with those Vikings. And it was like, literally my dad said Vikings, and then it was like Vikings right on the screen, and we're like, what the fuck? Like, it was trippy.
Synchronological. When you smoking that synchronic. Anyways, we are stalling, but I'm just kidding. That was a good like talk. We're about to get into Blue Rose Skeptics episode 4.
Can I do it like this?
Yeah, that's actually sick. I actually fuck with
Just
that.
have like an unplugged mic. Blue Rose.
But we with the plugs.
Isn't that a thing in like MTV Unplugged or something like that?
Yeah.
For much music unplugged. Here, do you want me to sit there?
Plug in Lemmy G.
You sitting in the spot.
Alright. We are going to
It's an animal lector with chips.
already.
You know how he does that? Apparently that was like improvised. Like she didn't even know he was gonna do it.
Oh, what the fuck? You didn't even know it was coming.
What's up?
Yo, everybody, this is Lemmy G.
also known as Mom, I Don't Feel So Good.
The homie, the legend,
The legend.
the rapper, the
Bonjour, je
artiste,
m'appelle Mom, I Don't Feel So Good. Or Maman, ça va mal.
the crazy freestyler, the fucking goat, the Scorpio. I don't know his rising or moon. What is it again? Is it Moon Taurus?
Scorpio Sun, Aquarius, Moon, Leo rising. So I'm the trifecta of sexy.
Well, are y'all ready to get into this?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having us, first and foremost, my dear friend. And I'm glad to be here with the sourest of all Baileys. So, what would you like to discuss today?
First of all, alrighty.
What's up?
All right. Well, so I believe that you have experienced some interesting things in your past, and today we wanted to ask you for your account and like what exactly happened, because from what I've heard, it's probably one of the craziest stories that I've ever heard. So yeah, if you want to jump into it, like what exactly happened, if you're gonna sum it up.
Well, first, I will say that there was multiple other people that were there, and granted, they may not even see this, but I will explain it to the best of my memory and my recollection, you know? So, again, however I say it, that's just my experience. Some other people that were there may have experienced it different, but yeah, anyways. So, I actually remember this whole incident happening, like, it was like a rainy day and I was a kid, and to summarize it, I was called by my godbrother, like, you know, like one of my close family members, about how my dad needed to come to their friend's house right now, like immediately. It was like weird, and I was like, okay. So then I remember running over there because it was only like maybe like 4 blocks away, and to my surprise, I walked into a full-fledged exorcism.
Whoa.
And I was, I believe, still in like junior high, I think, at the time. And you know, when you're in junior high, you don't really know what's going on, I'd say, especially something to that level of, you know, I guess, supernatural, so to speak, I guess. But when I was there and I was brought up to speed, the individual, I'm not going to say any names, but the individual that was involved, it's a she was kind of going crazy, you know, a little manic. You know, at first people think she was just having a mental breakdown, but she was like a tiny girl. And allegedly, I didn't see it firsthand, but she kicked in the walls and, you know, was breaking stuff. And it took like multiple people to like hold her down while she was, you know, going through, at the moment, people would say it was a manic episode. But then as the evening went on, more and more things like just kept occurring. First off, like my dad at the time, he was a preacher, and now he's a deacon. So he's like, you know, a man of God, so to speak. And he was there, and even he was skeptical, and like I was skeptical. But the evidence kind of speaks for itself. I remember at the time they called a specific kind of priest that was in Calgary that apparently dealt with exorcisms. And so when I heard that it was going to be an exorcism, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Granted, I might not be saying the things that occurred in order that they happened, it's just what I remember. But so there was a moment where it took like, I think 5 like full grown men, kind of, I think maybe 4 actually, and they were like big, like 6-foot guys, to hold her down. She was like kicking and screaming, and for her to have the strength to like fight them off, crazy. First off,
That's
right?
when you know this shit's crazy.
Yeah, and you know what really messed me up was behind her back, they were trying to get her to drink holy water, and she would know which water had holy water in it. She would refuse any glass that had it, and she knew, which was kind of crazy to me. Maybe it was like, I don't know, maybe in general she just didn't want to drink water, but it's like she knew there was holy water, and she was like even speaking kind of like in tongues, you know what I'm talking about? Like, but like not like in tongues, like in a very like, you know, praise and worship kind of way. It was like a very like demonic kind of way, you know. And I guess whatever spirit that was possessing her was kind of just toying with everyone around us, because like she would like point at the fucking demon or whatever spirit. And there was actually a time when they lit this bowl and it had I guess like a whole bunch of different dried herbs or something, and they lit this bowl, and I remember it being beside me. And so there was like a counter, like, you know, like a kind of like a bar counter in a kitchen. So yeah, there was like a bar counter, and then there was like people lined up. We were all like praying over her, and I just remember like when I turned to look at the bowl, nobody could stand where that bowl was burning. Like whatever energy was there, nobody could stand. And that was like another thing that really freaked me out.
What do you mean? Like people couldn't get close to it, or like?
Yeah, like you'd feel very uncomfortable. Like you feel kind of heavy. You know, I don't know if that was just because they wanted to make space for it or whatever, but just from what I remember, it's like no one could really stand in that area.
It's like you could almost like feel the energy from it. Like I can't go close to that. Like I've got to give it some distance.
Yeah, something like that. And then I remember someone mentioning with the house that, well, the house number was 13. I remember that vividly. And allegedly the price of that house went down because apparently there was a so-called death or murder there with a child, like a child passed away there or something. And I honestly, as a kid, maybe I blew it up in my head, but people were saying it was a murder or this and that, you know. And then there was like just a whole bunch of like weird, I guess, happenings, because like there was also a point where she was like drawing like a child and an umbrella apparently on the walls, or like just doing some crazy shit. I don't know exactly what it was, but there was like something about a child that she was drawing, and then after the fact they were telling us that a child died there or something.
What about the umbrella though? That's just weird, because I got a shirt for my birthday with a shit ton of umbrellas on it.
I don't know, it was raining that day though.
I was gonna say, you know what, like her trying to draw like someone was like not that bad. For some reason, if you just add the umbrella, it seems like 10 times creepier.
I just like remember them like emphasizing some shit about an umbrella. Like I don't remember if they actually told me the reason, but I just remember her, you know, punching in the walls and drawing freaking, you know, a child with an umbrella. You know, it sounds like a very convoluted and far-fetched story, but
no, well, like,
you know,
no reason to doubt you, bro.
Yeah. And you know, I think after the exorcism happened, like, I remember my dad, like, he was very in disbelief. He was like, oh, she was just being a brat, this, that. But it's like, I don't know, I was trying to piece these things together, and it's like, for what? How can like 4 like big ass guys not really hold her down? How did she know there was like water or holy water in the water they're trying to serve her? You know, how come we couldn't stand in this area? And there's actually one thing that I will add that is really fucked up, and I don't know if it actually has anything to do with it, but again, like, I'm pretty sure they're not going to see this, so I'm just going to say it anyway, whatever. But the mom revealed to my dad, after a lot of the people left, that so a while ago, I guess before they came here and moved to Canada, their dad hung himself. And the mom kept the rope that he hung himself with in that house.
Wow.
Oh.
So just, all in all, like, it was a bad situation. I was probably just waiting to manifest, you know?
Yeah, that type of stuff, it's like, I can see why people would keep it, but like, honestly, my advice to people out there is like, if you have something like that, it's only going to be a negative reminder. Like, as hard as it is to let go, like, I would say try and keep like things that bring back more positive memories, right?
Oh,
like,
for sure.
It actually kind of like reminds me of like, I don't know if any of y'all seen the Grizzly Man documentary.
No.
No, I don't think so.
But basically, it was this guy who went out and he like was crazy for grizzly bears, and he like literally walked up to grizzly bears and was like talking to them, and like he kind of understood how they worked, and people debate whether or not that he would have still been alive, because it was a bear that came from a different area that killed him. But his girlfriend, actually his girlfriend ended up dying with him, but his ex-girlfriend was given it was only an audio recording of his last moments, and it was like him being mauled by the bear, and they were like, you need to destroy this.
That's messed up.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know why you still have it, but you need to get rid of it because it's not good. Like, and that's no way to remember someone.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
But yeah, so that was a sidetrack thing, but
that reminded me of something, but I guess it's not really like on the paranormal, supernatural side of things. So maybe I could say it for another time. But it's like, if you ever heard of the toy box killer, look that shit up. It's messed up. I think it's called the toy box killer. But yeah, like, I guess if you had any other questions about what happened.
Well, like back to having the rope in the house and just having a bunch of negative things that could have fed into what happened. So after you experienced like being by this bowl and feeling this energy, what happened next? Like she was speaking in tongues. They had to hold her down because she was like overpowering like 5 people.
Yeah.
Which to me is not normal.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like, again, it's just from my perspective, it looked like they were really trying to hold her down.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, then again, they could have just kind of been careful because she's like a delicate small girl.
Yeah.
But
true.
Who knows, right? Mm-hmm. And it was weird. I don't know why. Also, like a lot of, as far as negative things go, I think like her ex-boyfriend was there. Like a whole bunch of friends that really weren't happy with her. Like at the time came, and like I think,
damn.
You know, part of me was like, if anything, this could have been like just seeking attention, but like, you know, that's how like the normal people would see it. Oh, she's just seeking attention, right?
I know a lot of people who would act like that if they were around their ex.
You know what I mean? And it was I don't know, man. But I guess the way I felt after, like, I don't think I actually had, I guess, a feeling about it. I kind of just saw it, and I was just like, well, I guess God's real. That's kind of how I felt, you know, in a sense, because of, like, you know, just how the whole situation worked out, and, like, apparently this is a special guy that does exorcisms, and he drove,
So other than the water, that was like a physical thing. Did you see anything else about like her anatomy or anything that? So other than seeing, like, feeling the presence of the bull and seeing that she would not drink water, did you know for sure that it was like was it only holy water that was being offered to her, or was it like different, like offered her water and then like holy water?
Well, they're trying to get her to drink. That's what it was.
It was all holy water.
And the first thing they were trying to give her was holy water. And I think that when they, you know how like sometimes like when you bless a home or something, they like spray water.
Yeah.
You know, like how they do that in the church sometimes. I don't know how much you've really been to church in life, but like sometimes they spray holy water in the crowd and stuff. Like I think they did that to her, and she would just get even more mad. Then again, could just be, you know, acting in a sense. But yeah, like she knew though. We were trying to get her to drink holy water. Like she wouldn't drink anything. She wouldn't take anything, I guess, because I don't know. She seemed tired for sure. Like her physical body was tired, but she still had so much energy.
But no like things flew, no like floating, no barf, no stereotypical movie tropes happened at least.
Honestly, I feel like all those stereotypical movie trope things, like, it's just for entertainment. Mm-hmm. But like, you know, if it was dealing with a poltergeist, yeah, for sure. If you were dealing with like maybe I don't know, a certain type of spirit, but I feel like this was just kind of like an angry, wailing kind of situation, you know, like whatever spirit was like possessing her. If I was to make a somewhat educated guess, it was just feeding off all the negative things that were happening in her life and around her. And she was just kind of like a vessel for that to manifest, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you know, like I don't think it was anything serious to say, but it was still definitely a spectacle as far as exorcisms go, right?
Yeah. So my last question is like, from start to finish, like how did things progress and how did it wrap up? Like from the time that it started to the end, how did she progress? And how did it, like, things kind of come to end? Because, something like that would be kind of awkward. Like, okay, I'll see you at church tomorrow. You know?
Yeah, for sure. So at first there was a whole bunch of, like, youth that were there. Like, there was really no adults. And I think the mom was at work. And then, it started with literally calling my dad because he was the only religious person they could think of. So, like, it was, like, all right. But then once more adults and more people came in, it's like it fed off the attention. Or whatever spirit fed off the attention. It progressively got worse. All that stuff happened. And then allegedly they exorcised it or something happened. And then she kind of, like, went limp and got all tired. And, like, they're just like, okay, I think everyone's needs to leave, like whatever we need to do now, like to take care of her, like it would be better if it was just the family and the person that was, like, I guess exercising her. So like I guess she was getting tired and like it's kind of like it dies down. Like there's only so much energy that can kind of, I guess, be maintained.
Yeah.
But I remember they still continued. Right, it wasn't kind of like an awkward, okay, I'll see you later. It was kind of just like, can everyone just kind of leave now?
Yeah.
I just remember when we did leave, like they talked to my dad. One of the last people they talked to was like my dad, and he told me like all this stuff. And like my mom was there too, and she told me about the rope. And I was just like, so I think at that point there's a lot. They had more to deal with, so like it didn't really die down, so to speak. They just told the people like, okay, you guys don't benefit us being here.
Yeah.
So because it was like we were just observing, right?
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how that went.
I'd be interested to hear like how it ended fully. Like how she is now and like the end of that night, where it's like, okay, we feel like she's good to go to bed and it's I from what you said, it just sounded like she just kind of lost energy and just kind of fell asleep. And
I guess it wasn't really like she fell asleep or anything, but like it just seemed that whatever they were doing was working. I don't know, like, I'll be honest, because like I wasn't actually there at the very end, and my dad told me I had to leave too.
But did your dad stay to the very end?
Yeah.
And that's confidential?
He never told. I asked him about it, he's like, you don't really need to know about this stuff, like, it's like, like it has nothing to do with you kind of situation, and I think he just didn't want me to be running my mouth off as a kid, like, oh, this is what happened, oh, my dad exercised, blah, 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 like, me talking about this now.
Yeah.
Like, this is like the things he doesn't want me to do, but it's whatever, it happened so long ago, so.
I mean, I think this is for the benefit of just like, having a truthful story, and I like, our intent is only for knowledge and to help other people, to let them know that these situations have happened and it's not complete Hollywood. It could have been a psychosis break for all we know.
100%.
We don't know, but there's a lot of components to the story that are interesting that make me think that it could be supernatural. So we just have to kind of take it as it is.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, just like respectfully leave it as it is. Like if the family didn't want people to know really what else happened, then that's fair. You experienced what you experienced, and you're telling it to benefit other people.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say though is, I think it could have been deeper. That's why they wanted the people to leave.
Yeah.
And that's why my dad didn't tell me what happened after. So take with that what you will. But that's just, again, my story from my recollection, and I hope you kind of enjoyed listening to that. Yeah. Thanks for asking me, and I guess I'm glad I could share it so that, stuff like this is real.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
And also, on a side note, I have another story. It's not my own, but it happened to friends of mine, which is very closely related to this story, that I hold close to me, that makes me believe that this story is, a lot deeper than just a psychosis break, because this stuff has actually affected people who I know, and I know for sure that what happened to them was not just a psychosis break. So yeah, I need permission from the person who I know who it happened to give the story, but until then, I'll just leave it as is.
Alrighty, well, that was a good Blue Rose episode. I believe 3.
4.
I don't know.
3
man.
or 4?
Blue Rose Skeptics.
3.214.
159.
Blue Rose Skeptics 4, and more coming soon. Thank you for watching.
Peace, bitches.
This video's cursed.
Cut that part about me saying bitches. That's derogative. I don't want that.